friends, this is me Payal Dutta, and in today's video I'm going to help you with the line-by-line explanation of Act 2 Scene 5 from William Shakespeare's play The Merchant of Venice. Please hit the like button if you like my video and don't forget to subscribe. So let us start. Act 2 Scene 5, Venice, the street outside Shylock's house. Enter Shylock and Lancelot. From the previous scenes, we know that Lancelot has decided to leave Shylock and serve Bassanio. We also know that Bassanio was throwing a dinner party where Shylock was invited. So here, Lancelot has come to Shylock to take his leave and invite him to dine with his new master Bassanio. Shylock says, "Well, thou shalt see. Thy eyes shall be thy judge. The difference of old Shylock and Bassanio. What, Jessica? Thou shalt not gormandize as thou hast done with me. What, Jessica? And sleep and snore and rend apparel out. Why, Jessica, I say." Here we see that Shylock is talking to Lancelot and calling out for Jessica, who is inside the house. Shylock tells Lancelot that now he would be able to understand the difference between him and Bassanio. According to Lancelot, Shylock had half famished him. But here we see Shylock accusing Lancelot for overeating. He says that Lancelot will not be able to gormandize, that is, overeat, like he did when he served him. He even accuses Lancelot of sleeping, snoring, and wearing out his clothes. He means to say that Lancelot enjoyed many luxuries during his service to Shylock, which shall all come to an end when he goes to Bassanio. According to Shylock, he had provided Lancelot with adequate amount of food and clothing. When Lancelot sees that Jessica is not responding to Shylock's call, he too calls out for her. To which Shylock says, "Who bid thee call? I do not bid thee call." Meaning that he did not ask him to call her. Bid thee meaning to ask you. Lancelot, "Your worship was wont to tell me that I could do nothing without bidding." So Lancelot tells Shylock that Shylock was habituated to tell him that he could do nothing without being told. This is when Jessica enters. Jessica, "Call you? What is your will?" Shylock, "I am bid for to supper, Jessica. There are my keys." So Jessica asked Shylock whether he called for her or not, or whether he wanted something from her or not. "What is your will?" Meaning, what is that you demand from me? To this, Shylock informs Jessica that he had been invited to dinner and he hands Jessica the keys of the house. Bid forth to supper means invited out to dinner. "But wherefore should I go? I am not bid for love. They flatter me. But yet I'll go in hate to feed upon the prodigal Christian." Here Shylock tells Jessica that why should he accept an invitation that was sent by Bassanio? He was not invited out of love, but out of Bassanio's own self-interest. Here Shylock accepts the invitation of the dinner out of hatred. In Act 1 Scene 3, if you remember, when Bassanio invited him for dinner, he refused to eat with a Christian since they were pork eaters. He asserted then that he would never eat, drink, or pray with Christians. So here we see that although he did not want to dine with a Christian, he was ready to do business with them. Now he calls Bassanio a prodigal Christian. Prodigal is a biblical allusion of the prodigal son described in the Bible. In that story, the son wasted his share of money by living a lavish life. Likewise, we see Bassanio spending Shylock and Antonio's money like a wasteful person. Shylock then goes on to tell Jessica, "Jessica, my girl, look to my house. I am right loath to go. There is some ill a brewing towards my rest, for I did dream of money bags tonight. So Shylock had a dream about money bags on the previous night. To dream about money bags and all kinds of coins was considered to be a bad omen. So Shylock says, there is some ill a brewing towards my rest, meaning that there is some evil being plotted against me. My rest here refers to his peace of mind. We see that Shylock is unhappy to accept the invitation and he asks Jessica to look after his house. He says, I am right loath to go, meaning that he was reluctant and hesitant to accept the invitation because he could feel a premonition of some misfortune that was about to take place. This premonition of Shylock turns out to be true when Jessica, taking advantage of her father's absence, makes a plan to elope with Lorenzo with all her father's money and jewellery. Lancelot then tells Shylock that Bassanio, his young master, doth expect his reproach. Here Lancelot meant to say approach instead of reproach, but Shylock takes Lancelot's words and says that he too expects his reproach. Reproach means disappointment. So Lancelot says, and they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask, but if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a-bleeding on Black Monday last at 6 o'clock in the morning. Falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 year in the afternoon. When Shylock tells Lancelot that he was expecting some sort of a disappointment at Bassanio's party, Lancelot informs Shylock that they here refers to the ones who were arranging the supper party, had been conspiring together, that is plotting things together. Then Lancelot informs Shylock about the mask that would take place that night. He tells Shylock that he might see a mask at the party, and if he did, then Lancelot had predicted it first. The mask was an amateur dramatic practice usually performed in private houses during the Elizabethan times. The players wore masks and costumes, and they even took part in processions playing instruments. A few speeches earlier, Shylock had spoken about his dream that was a bad omen. So going back to that conversation, Lancelot says that he knew there would be a masquerade when he had a bad omen of a bloody nose in the previous Black Monday at 6 in the morning. Now, Black Monday refers to Easter Monday. He says 4 years before that incident of the bloody nose, he had the same kind of bloody nose on Ash Wednesday, that is the first day of Lent, during the afternoon. Here Lancelot means to say that getting a bad omen was enough to predict that a masquerade would take place. Now the next speech of Shylock is very important. In this speech, we realize how much Shylock hated masks. When Lancelot tells Shylock about the masquerade, he is alarmed with fear. He asks Jessica to lock the doors of the house. When you hear the drum and the wild squealing of the wry-necked fife, clamber not you up to the casements then. Here Shylock tells Jessica not to clamber, that is, not to climb up the windows when she hears the drum and wild squealing, that is, the shrill of the fife. A fife is a small instrument which is played sideways, giving the player a wry neck. A wry neck is a twisted neck. Now thrust your head into the public street to gaze on Christian fools with varnished faces. Shylock advises Jessica not to stretch her neck out to gaze over the public street to look at the Christian fools with painted faces. Varnished faces means painted faces or faces wearing masks. Here Shylock refers to those Christians taking part in the masquerade as fools. But stop my house's ears, I mean my casements. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. Here Shylock asks Jessica to stop his house's ears, that is, to close all the windows of his house so that no sound of the shallow foppery enters his sober house. Shallow foppery means foolishness. According to Shylock, a mask is nothing but a foolish display. He then goes on to say, "By Jacob's staff I swear, I have no mind of feasting forth tonight, but I will go." So here we see Shylock swearing by Jacob's staff. Jacob was the grandson of Abraham. Abraham was the founder of the Jewish race. According to the Bible, Jacob had a staff that proved to be a blessing to him. In the Genesis, Jacob boasts about that staff when he had crossed the river Jordan. Shylock here alludes to Jacob and tells that he would not like to go to Bassanio's dinner party, but he would go. He asked Lancelot to go to Bassanio and tell him that he had accepted his invitation. To this, Lancelot replies that he would do as he instructed him to and go to Bassanio. Then he turns towards Jessica and asks her to look out at the window. Why? Because there will come a Christian by, will be worth a Jew's eye. Here Lancelot refers to Lorenzo as the Christian. He says that Lorenzo would come by and he would be worth Jessica's glance. Saying this, Lancelot leaves. Seeing Lancelot murmuring something to Jessica, Shylock asks Jessica, "What says that fool of Hagar's offspring, huh?" Shylock here refers to Lancelot as Hagar's offspring. Hagar was a maid to Abraham's wife. Abraham was the father to Hagar's son, but he rejected the boy and sent him away with his mother. Here Shylock alludes to Hagar's offspring to mean that Lancelot was like his son, but Shylock had to reject him like Abraham and sent him away to Bassanio. From the previous scenes we know that Jessica was not a devoted daughter. So she confidently lies to her father, saying that Lancelot had come to tell her goodbye and nothing more. The next speech of Shylock again is very important. Shylock says, "The patch is kind enough, but a huge feeder, sails slow in profit, and he sleeps by day more than the wild cat." The word patch means a clown or a fool. In olden days, the professional fool used to wear multicolored, patched clothes. Here the word is used for Lancelot. Shylock says that Lancelot was a kind person, but he used to eat a lot, and he was a slow learner. He complains that Lancelot used to sleep and snore more than the wild cat. Snail slow in profit, meaning he was slow as a snail in learning his job. Drones hive not with me, therefore I part with him. Drones refer to bees who do not work. Here Shylock means to say that lazy people cannot work with him. He says that Lancelot is lazy and cannot be his servant. So he is allowing him to leave his service and join Bassanio, and part with him to one that I would have him help to waste his borrowed purse. Here Shylock says that he is sending Lancelot to one, that is to Bassanio, as he would help Bassanio waste his borrowed purse. Shylock wishes to see Bassanio ruined because he wants to take revenge from Antonio. Borrowed purse refers to the 3,000 ducats that Bassanio borrowed from Shylock on the basis of the bond that was signed by Antonio. "Well, Jessica, go in. Perhaps I will return immediately. Do as I bid you. Shut doors after you. Fast bind, fast find. A proverb never stale in thrifty mind. Here Shylock asks Jessica to close the doors to make his house safe from the Christian fools. He quotes the old proverb, fast bind, fast find, which means that if you lock a thing, you will find it safe. That is, he who takes the care of his things will prosper. He says that this proverb is never invalid in thrifty mind. That is a mind that uses money and other resources very carefully and not wastefully. Shylock leaves and Jessica bids him goodbye. She says, "And if my fortune be not crossed, I have a father, you a daughter lost." Jessica says that her fortune is with her. If her fortune is with her, then she will lose a father and her father will lose a daughter. Fortune be not crossed, meaning if her luck is not prevented from carrying out its plans. Saying this, Jessica leaves. So in this scene, we see that Shylock becomes the instrument of fate. He goes to supper to help consume Bassanio's borrowed money. He overworks with his religious principles, which prevented him from dining with a Christian. He even ignores the premonition of the upcoming evil that came to him in form of a dream. This provides Jessica an occasion to elope with Lorenzo, with her father's wealth and jewelry. So, here we come to the end of Act 2, Scene 5. Please hit the like button if you like my video and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any doubts regarding this scene, please leave it in the comment section below. I will definitely reply. Thank you.